Sometimes life gets crazy and it's just too easy to focus on all the negativity in the world. Welcome to the audio antidote to that. On this show, we highlight the amazing and positive work being done in the world to remind ourselves that there is hope out there for the future. And along the way, we'll pick up some new perspectives and ideas so we can all work together to make the world a little bit better. Because we know that when creativity and community come together, we can create good. This is Creating Good with Matt Barnes. Let's do it. Well, hello there, and welcome back to Creating Good with Matt Barnes. I am, in fact, Matt Barnes, and we've got a great show for you today. Kathya Bustamante is here. She is amazing, and I will get to what she's all about in just a second. But before I do that, I want to tell you to go over to creatinggood.co and check out everything we got going on there. Creating Good is really just, that's just a movement that we want you to be a part of. And there's no reason you shouldn't want to be a part of it. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for you to volunteer for us. Nope. Just how can we all use what we have, our resources, our skills, our knowledge, everything to make the world a little bit better, to create good in the world, to add to the world and not just take from it. And it could be big things like starting an organization like some of our guests have done. It could be joining nonprofits. It could be just talking to your neighbors or being intentional with the things you're talking to your kids about, or it could literally anything. Every little bit of good that we put into this world adds up. I promise you. And we need it. More than ever. More good, more good, more good. Okay. Kathya Bustamante, our guest today, is doing exactly that. She is an eco-strategist. What does that mean? I'm going to let her really go into it. But she is a consultant for eco-friendly brands and really helping them be more than just a brand and be more than just using eco-friendly as a nice label to define them. And she's awesome. We just hit it off. And in fact, I've been talking since we recorded this about ways to work together and work with her clients and see how we can, combine our powers to create more good in the world. All right, I'm here with Kathya Bustamante. How you doing, Kathya?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for doing this, for joining me. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to the podcast, but we always start off with a segment we call 3 Random Questions. Just,
Yes.
break the ice, get to know you a little bit, and then
Yeah,
we can dive into who you are and what you're all about.
sounds
You,
good.
you ready?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What toppings do you like on your pizza?
Definitely not pineapple. And I'm pretty simple. I like mushrooms and pepperoni. So pretty
Okay.
straightforward.
Mushrooms
Hmm.
and pepperoni. All right. Question number 2. Would you ever or have you ever gone bungee jumping or skydiving?
No, that's not me. I've not done either. And I'm a coward, but someone said something to me once, something about how, why would you ever put your life at risk? And it was at a time where I was thinking about doing it, and I think somehow that landed and it made me a bit of a chicken. So never. But I am very much in awe of people who do. So,
All right. Good to know. And finally, what was the most recent movie that you've seen?
oh gosh, I have an 11-year-old, so I'm not excited to share. I think it was, what did we watch? Oh, the Beetlejuice was the last one. Can you
Oh,
believe
okay.
it? The lesson, which was a bit too much for an 11-year-old. I didn't know, but
Yeah.
oops, bad mom, a mom fail right there.
Hey, we all learn, I mean,
Yeah.
parenting is an exercise in just trying and seeing what works.
And humility, that's for sure.
Humility and
Yeah.
yeah, making mistakes and figuring it out as you go. It's the only way to go.
Yes.
All right. Well, you have passed 3 random questions. Well done.
Thank you.
Kathya, tell us about you. What's your origin story? Where'd you come from and what are you up to?
Okay. Oh gosh. That's always a hard question, deer in headlights moment, because there's so many origins, right? But let's see. I was born and raised in LA. Went to university here in LA at USC.
Nice.
Graduated and did not want to do the 9 to 5 grind, so moved to Japan to teach English for a little bit, for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Was bitten by the bug of working and living abroad, went to Spain, and then eventually ended up in France, where I got an MBA in business and ended up working at Pirelli I don't know if you know the Pirelli tire company.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I was doing that in France, and they're the tire company. And I learned through my guy friends that they're also the calendar company because when they found out I was at Pirelli, everybody called me out of the blue for a calendar. And I thought, no, sorry, I don't have that much power. And so I was there for a bit and then discovered shortly afterwards that the ceiling is very low for women in France, especially the class in finance. So after about a year or so, I went back to the States and got a job. I went to New York and I got a job in finance and was working with Morgan Stanley. And there was that little thing in me that said, okay, if I'm going to be in finance and Wall Street or the whole thing, I still want to feel good about it. So I went down the road of socially responsible investments. And at the time, I was kind of the joke in the office. A lot of the colleagues, they were all men. They said, "You're never going to make any money, selling the virtue stocks. You got to sell the buy stocks, the tobacco, the petroleum, etc." But something in me was drawn to that, and I think
Yeah.
maybe guilt. It's like I don't want to be part of just the, and so I was doing that for a bit, and then I got recruited to another company, a Swiss company, and one of the things that I brought with me from France was a big love of food. I went down the whole organic food culture. That's all the French ever talked about was food and vacations, and I understood the love of food. And so I became known as the organic fanatic, and
Yeah.
I was managing investments for a lot of high net worth individuals. And one guy had another friend who was going to start the first 100% organic restaurant in New York City. And he wanted investors. He said, "You need to talk to Kathya. She's an organic fanatic, and she's got investors. Maybe she can help you out." So I met this guy. He had an incredible business plan. It wasn't vegetarian. He was from Argentina, so he wanted to make sure that there was meat, but everything was 100% organic. And people said, "You're never going to make it. You're going to fail. That's too expensive, et cetera, et cetera." And then the crash happened, the crises in 2000. Well, this was around 2010 or so, but the crisis has happened sooner. Everyone was losing their jobs, getting laid off. It was a bad time. I was at the bank that was in the paper the most because we were the bad boys, the Swiss banks that people weren't reporting um, their income internationally, et cetera, et cetera. So it was a really bad time. I was really lucky that I didn't lose my job. Um, but I just wasn't, and it just wasn't good. It was a really bad environment, and I quit. I quit, and this guy who started the restaurant, I helped him find money. He always said, "One day I'm going to have you on my team. I want you to help me grow this and make it, the McDonald's of organics." So when I quit, that's what happened. I ended up becoming part owner of this 100% organic restaurant. And in the middle of restaurants closing left and right in New York, this restaurant was thriving. People wanted this. It was the only one. Lines wrapped around the block. And it was a wonderful experience because I was motivated. I loved it. The conversations that were happening, people were coming in saying I started eating only organic food and being more healthy, and I've lost all this weight. The stories were endless. So for me,
Yeah.
it wasn't really work. I was working lots of hours, but I was really enjoying it. Anyhow, long story short, because it was an organic restaurant, people would come to me and say, "How did you start this organic restaurant?" I didn't. I came after the fact, but I was really involved. And little by little, I started helping other people start organic businesses and sustainable businesses and so forth. And I met the father of my daughter at that time who lived in Canada. So I moved to Canada. And as a way to continue to be home with my daughter, I continued consulting people, whether, helping them start their organic businesses. And that's where I am now. That's what I've been doing is helping people start their eco-friendly, organic, and sustainable brands. Um, and yeah, that's what I do.
So that's obviously a very specific like niche, right? Like
Yes.
you're looking for
Yes.
a very specific type of client or person. What is it about that is just fulfilling for you?
You know, I don't know if it's old Catholic guilt or something like, but it was just help. It just, there's something really wonderful about working with people who say, "I want to start a business that doesn't hurt the planet, that doesn't hurt people, that is actually making a positive impact." Those people are really inspiring because they're willing to maybe sacrifice a few things to start that. And I get more excited about starting something that is actually making an impact, as I'm sure you will know, than
Yeah.
something that is just there to make money. And so, and I have a little saying where I have a dream where I want to live in a world where eco-friendly and ethical brands are the norm, not the exception. Because right now it's
Right.
reversed. And a lot of the things that we buy, because what does everybody do around the world? They buy. Everybody's buying something. And every time we make a purchase, we're making a decision about the world we want to live in, right? It's like
Right.
there's a really good quote out there, which I won't say it properly if I try, but it's that idea that we're shaping the world by the purchases we make. And so that's my little contribution of helping us make a better world. And when we buy something, to really think about it, what are we doing when we make this purchase? Who are the people behind the scenes, and how is this going to be on our planet for 1,000 years, etc.
Yeah. So you're helping on sort of the back end of that, helping people create sustainable uh, chains and opportunities to get those give that to people so that people can
Yeah,
make better choices.
exactly, exactly. And a lot of the people that I work with, a lot of them are creatives, they're
Yeah.
visionaries, they're makers, but they're not marketers.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really enjoy. I'm a step-by-step girl. I like to see what's your vision. Now let's reverse engineer and let's get the steps in order. And I really love helping them kind of see, okay, I have this idea. I'm not sure how to get to it. Now let's put the steps in place. So I want to see them be
Yeah.
successful. Hmm.
For sure. And I think there's this like almost misconception or I don't know, wrong false belief that it's kind of like you either have to be thinking about, oh, I need something that makes money, or I need something that is helping people or good for the environment or whatever it might be. When really the ideal is both. It's not, we're like they're not mutually exclusive ideas.
Yes, yes. And I think today more than ever, I think more and more people are paying attention to the products they buy, and are the values aligned? Are they buying a product that aligns with their values? And so those companies are proving to be profitable. So, like you said, you can be profitable and also, do good in the world, as
Yeah.
best you can. It's hard because some of my clients, they're not 100% organic, let's say, but maybe they're 90% and they're working toward it and they're transparent
Yeah.
about it. And that's what we want is just be honest. Just say, listen, the better we get, the more we're able to do good.
Well, and that's the whole thing behind creating good is right is the idea of what do we have as individuals, as companies, as whatever it is, to that we can use to create good in the world. And it doesn't necessarily have, it's a journey. It's not we're there
Yes.
tomorrow, but what do I have
Yes.
today that I can use and build on in the future to be able to create a sustainable difference in the world. And the
Yes.
reality is it takes a while to get to that.
Yeah, we're all a work in progress, right? And it's
Right.
like, yeah, for
Well, it's
sure.
like
No.
even with the parenting thing, like you said, like we would try things out, and oh, well, that didn't work out so well. Okay, correct. Yeah, I'll try something else next time,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I don't know about you, but I was the perfect mom until I had a kid.
yeah,
And I had it all
right.
figured out, and then
Of
boop.
course. kids are
So,
kids are the ultimate like test of,
oh
your
man.
your humility and willingness or ability to grow and learn because if you if and it's a lesson for any area of life, right? Like you go into something, and if you go in thinking I know everything, I've got this down, I'm gonna, you're never gonna grow, you're never gonna. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you can take the opportunity to go like, I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna make some mistakes, I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna grow, I'm gonna get
Yes.
better, then you
Yeah.
will. And it's
Yes.
and it's the same thing in business.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's the world we live in now with more everything's so transparent that we
Hmm.
can't hide anymore. You kind of
Right.
just have to be true to yourself and say, listen, this is what I've got, and I'll just do better. And we're just constantly, yeah, growing. So I feel like that's been one of the positive shifts now in the world we're in. It's like there aren't any secrets. You kind of know
Yeah.
what everybody's doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with what you do, what specifically when you get a new client, you get somebody you're meeting with, what specifically do you start with? What are you working with them through?
Okay, so one of the first things I find is, like I said, a lot of the marketers, a lot of the business owners I work with, they make a product and then they rush to sell it. And what do? They usually go straight to post on social media and Instagram. And when I ask them, I say, "Well, what are you doing? How's your marketing?" They say, "Well, I'm posting on TikTok, I'm posting on Instagram, and that's my marketing." But that's not marketing. Those are platforms, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think, they haven't done the work, the foundational work of like, what what's your point of view? What's unique about you? Why should someone want to buy
Yes.
your product? And the number one question from my clients, because of the area we're in, is that a lot of eco-friendly product owners, they lead with their eco-friendly practices, which is fine, but nobody cares that much. No
Right.
one's going to buy just because you're saving the planet. They still want a product that is going to give them what they want.
Yeah.
So I always like to give them this exercise when I say, imagine a world where every single business is eco-friendly and organic. Now how do you stand out?
Right.
And then they get stuck because they've been talking about their eco-friendly for so long as the thing that's different about them. And they don't even know. And I say, well, listen, everybody's organic now. We've accomplished our dream, right? Now, I want you to tell me why someone should buy your product. And let's get to that essence of what's important. And let's say you're a fashion brand that's focusing on moms who are just too tired to get dressed. So you create jumpsuits that are quick and easy, that make you look chic and stylish, but
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
comfortable. And now you're talking to somebody specific, or you're, maybe you're making dresses for women who like to ride bikes. So they have pockets and are accessible. So what is your differentiator? So I help them get really clear on that. And then also get really clear on what impact they're making, because sometimes our products, they're just a vehicle for something more. So,
Yeah.
for example, I have a client who sells, she's a real pet lover, dog lover, and she sells candles that she calls pet friendly. And the reason that they're pet friendly is because people don't realize that the average candle has a lot of toxic chemicals that when you burn that candle are actually, they have phthalates and toxins that are actually hurting your lungs. And they hurt our lungs, but they hurt our pets' lungs even more
Yeah.
because they have very sensitive respiratory systems. And so she's really devoted to teaching people how to take care of their pets and give them the best so that they have the longest life possible, because they're your best friends, etc. And she was starting with pet safe candles that are, not harming your pet. But when we started getting to the root of why she's doing what she's doing, because she's really passionate about pet wellness and the pet connection between the owner, now her business had a bigger mission.
Yeah.
And the candles are one vehicle to get that, but she could eventually sell other products as long as her vision is being met, right? So, so we really do the big work to find out, well, what is your impact? What is it that you want to do? And then everything falls into place. It's so much easier to create the content that we need, and etc. And so now all of the content we create, she's enjoying doing it because it
Yeah.
actually is tied to something meaningful, and the ideas are coming much more quickly because it's all tied. And then the best thing is that when you're so clear on what your message and why you're doing what you're doing, it's so easy to work with partners and collaborators and allies and to get press because your message is clear,
Yeah.
and so that's really for me the first thing. I said, okay, let's forget about all the TikTok and Instagram right now. Let's get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, what's the impact it's making in the world, and then we can proceed to what marketing strategy you want, which is the other big component. Is people think they have to do social media, but I said to them, you don't. Social media
Yeah.
is one of multiple platforms. So let's figure out what your communication style is and what you feel comfortable doing. And I've kind of put together 10 different options, 10 or so, of things they can choose from. And I say, let's just do one or two right now. Make sure you do them well. And when you got that down, then we can add the next one. But the important thing is, what's your message? Because that's going to be the same thing in all of them, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Do you get a lot of pushback on that? Because I think a lot of I've found with a lot of clients, they come in going, we need this and we need this and we need this, and you're going like, yeah, nope, you're not ready for any of those things yet,
Yes,
or actually, that's not where your audience is. Your audience is over here, and they're going, but
yes,
everybody else is saying I need to do this, and you're like,
yeah.
yeah, but you're gonna spend your money, you're gonna get nothing. Do you get a lot of pushback on that? And then how do you overcome that when that happens?
Yeah, 100%. People come in with a fixed idea, of what they see is working or what they think is working with their
Yeah.
competitors or so, and that they want to do the same thing. And and it's not easy because they're listening to you saying, "Nah, I'm not sure I buy this." You kind of have to prove it to them and show it to them. And some people are, are like, just whatever you say, just do it
Yeah.
because I have no idea. But the people who have a very fixed idea, yeah, you're right. It takes time, and it's a few sessions before maybe they're willing to give it a try because they really want to do this. They hire you because they want you to do X, Y, Z. And like you said, I see they're not ready. They haven't even answered the basic foundational questions when you ask them, what's your message? And tell me about your product and all of that, you know?
It's for us, it's changed the way that I do sort of orientation at the beginning, which
Mm,
is even before we bring them on as a client, of letting them know like we're gonna push you and give you feedback in ways that you probably are gonna be a little uncomfortable with, but it's because we're seeing things from an outside perspective, and you need, like, if you're hiring us, you need to trust that. Not that we don't
um,
want your opinions and your feedback, but these are areas that we know about, and we're never, I think a lot of times clients can get in this idea that like we are adversarial with them a little bit, or like
yes, yeah,
like we're trying to get it to be our way, and I'm like, no, I'm fighting for you. Like, if you're not
yes,
successful, then we're not successful.
yeah,
So if I'm suggesting something, you know, uh, and you're not sure about it, ask more about it. Whatever, that's great. But
uh-huh,
it's always for your benefit. It's always for,
yeah,
because we see that's the most effective path forward. But
mm-hmm,
you get some people who they come in with that idea of we know what we want, and that's the other thing that for us it's helped us redefine on the at the creative agency at Rogue. um when we present ourselves, we're not just designers, we're not just these, we're strategists, we're full big picture strategists,
mm,
who can execute on that strategy. And so really helping them realize, like, you're hiring us for the strategy.
yes,
So if
yeah,
you already think you have your strategy, we're probably not the best fit for you. you
yeah,
know
yeah,
and most of them go, oh, okay, yeah, 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 but it kind of frees them up
yes.
from that, so that can help. But I don't know
Yeah,
if you've had those experiences.
oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. And there's some good
Yeah.
tips there you shared because you're right. You need to help them see the big picture and the strategy. And I think it's people come, they have an identity, right? When they come to
Hmm.
you, they've already decided this is my identity and and this is who I want to be, but they're not really seeing how people see them from the outside because it's so
Right.
hard to see yourself, right? Like I'm sure the same is true for you. I need a coach. You need a coach because I
Absolutely.
can't see myself. And that's one thing that I find that some of them come with they're hugging this pole of identity, like, "You're not taking this away from me, and this is who I am," and you're kinda shifting how you're talking
Yeah.
about my brand, and I'm
Hmm.
not ready to do that costume change, and it's hard, but I find that, oh, they've hired you for a certain amount of time, that after a while, they see it, but in the beginning, yeah, 100%, I get
Yeah.
pushback. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm constantly looking for ways to build more trust, right, like, up front. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Uh,
that we can get there a little more quickly. And also just framing it as, like you just said, we all need that outside perspective.
yes.
Everybody. I need that
Uh-huh.
outside, because when you're in the middle of it, you miss things. I can't tell you, and I tell clients this all the time when they're starting, like, how often a client comes in and says, this is the most important thing about us. This is the thing that people respond to. And I go, as an outside, like, as a potential client of yours, maybe, I don't care about that. It's
Yes.
this other thing over here that you're not even talking about. And they're like, well, that's
Yes.
just who we are. And I'm like, exactly. That's what
Yes.
differentiates you.
Oh gosh, yeah, 100%. That resonates, especially with my clients that are all eco-friendly. They want to talk about the eco-friendly forever. And I think that's a wonderful thing that supports what you do, but we still want to solve problems. We still want to give
Yes.
people the aspirational transformation that they're after. And it's just they're fixated, but we're 100%. And I said, nobody cares that much yet. They
Right.
will once they love you, but
But
we're not there
nobody's
yet.
gonna choose, well, I shouldn't say nobody, but the vast majority of people are not gonna choose you based on one characteristic. If
Yes.
you say, if you're it's like my cousin is vegan, and she's always trying to find the best vegan restaurants around and
Yeah.
different things. She's not going to continue to go to a restaurant just because it's vegan if it's not good food.
Yes,
you
exactly,
know
exactly.
and she's like, I want it, I hope it's good, but yes, that vegan is obviously a thing she's looking for, but also the food has to still be good, and it
Yeah.
has to be, like, oh, if I can find a good vegan burger place, or and then a good vegan taco place and a good vegan, you know, all these things. But if it's not, the tacos aren't good, I'm not going back.
Yes, yes. So it's funny. I always find that really funny too when you look for restaurants and it says Chinese, Japanese, Mexican, vegan. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm eating when I go to the vegan. Vegan what?
Right.
Like it's is it
Right.
vegan, Mexican, vegan? Like what is it? Vegan doesn't tell me anything.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly. And that's the thing, is people are relying on, and businesses are like people. And we talk a lot about defining the character of your brand. And
mm-hmm.
because it's the main, what's the main character in your story? What's going to connect?
Yeah.
That's what people connect with in a story, is a character. And a character is not, a personality is not just one thing. It's a complex,
Mm,
make it a pie
yeah.
chart. Okay, great. You've got this section over here that is eco-friendly. What are the other sections? What are people going
Yes.
to connect with in there? And it
Yes.
has to be
Yeah.
more than that one thing.
For sure.
Because otherwise you're just a fad. If
Yeah.
you get people, it may be because it's just a fad, and then that's going to go out. But to establish long-term connections and make people keep coming back, there's
Mm-hmm.
got to be more. And you've got to
Yeah,
be more
for
than one
sure.
thing. Yeah.
Especially today, people are so smart today and they want to feel. That's the thing. People want to feel something. And how are you making people connect emotionally and feel like your brand is actually part of their worldview and their lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
Hmm.
more options than ever,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. At the click of a button, right? Yeah, they
Right.
don't even
And
have
it's
to
like
go anywhere.
everybody's out there saying, I'm eco-friendly and we make the best thing. Of course. Okay, great. That's the base. Now what's
Yes.
above that? What
Yes.
sets you apart from that?
Exactly. And that's the thing today. Now everybody, even though there's a lot of greenwashing, so even though people
Yes,
say
of course.
eco-friendly, we know that there's that other element, how to know when something isn't. But yeah, everyone is now doing good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to just shift perspectives a little bit here before we
Hmm.
wrap up. And like I said, with creating good, we're wanting to motivate people to look inside and go, what do I have that I can use to create good?
Hmm.
You went through that journey, right? You
Hmm.
went through that journey of, all right, I'm using my skills over here, I'm using them over there, it's not fulfilling. What would you recommend to somebody who is looking to find, maybe not even career wise, it could just be, in life and social situations,
Hmm.
but possibly career. What's one thing you've learned that has helped you figure out, how can I use what I have for good?
How can I use what I have for good? Um, I think something someone said to me a while back that stayed is like so many times when we disagree as humans, it's because our values are different. The word values has really made an impact on me. Like I had no idea. Maybe I value kindness, but the other person values shrewdness. And and it's like I think the first thing we have to do as humans is figure out what are our values. And once you know what you value and what your values are, then you know what's missing in the world and what you want to contribute. Because if you value, for me, it's really important. I don't want to know that I'm wearing a shirt that somebody was, um, some 10-year-old kid was making under really bad conditions and was really being mistreated. Because it is. We like buy that $10 shirt, but that costs somebody. That costs somebody's life, that's someone's health. And I think that it starts with what are the things that you value, and then that's kind of an indicator of how you start to identify what you want to put out into the world. So I think it's a very personal answer you have to find, and something that we don't do. And when this person said this to me, I said, "Oh my gosh, I never really asked myself what my values are." And so I even sat down with my daughter and I said, what are our family values? Like,
I
what do
love
we
that.
value?" And she surprised me because she said, "Well, we value generosity. We
Mm,
value kindness." A kid when they're young, they still have those beautiful values.
I love it.
But and she was hurt because she had a friend who wasn't very nice, and she said, "Well, you value kindness, so you want to find friends that have similar values." And I've kind of taken that to heart as like, oh, when I don't agree with someone, I don't even need to get mad. We just have different values, and that's
Yeah.
okay. So I find that has been really helpful in starting whatever. And I think it's a doorway to like, okay, well, what do I care about? Then how do I start creating something in the world that takes me in
Yeah.
that direction? Hmm.
And doesn't it also release you from other things? When you go, oh, that's my values. That's not. I don't need to
Yes,
waste time on that, you
yes,
know?
yes. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because when I see, I have a close friend, he's really shrewd, really smart. He's a businessman and
Yeah.
he will do business at all costs, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And but he values money and success and all of that. And he's great. He's very generous when he makes money. He's very generous, but he really
Yeah.
values how he gets to it is different from the way I would. But I kind of admire and respect that because he's good at it and he does good in another way. So I don't have to judge it, you know. I can
Right.
just see it, you know, for what it is.
Well, in that then you get into that judgmental versus curiosity, and it's fascinating to learn
Yes.
about other people because you start realizing, oh, I don't share the same values as everybody. That's not
Yeah.
always a bad thing necessarily, but I can learn more about them and why and how
Hmm.
they might look at things differently, and then that brings understanding and the opportunity to understand a little bit better. But it, like I said, yeah, I think it's also that freedom of like I had a
Yes.
situation a little while ago where it was somebody did something that I was just like, oh, that's not okay. I don't want to be like I don't want to be. And in there they're going, I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like,
Oh,
and I'm like, no, you. At first I was like, no, you did. That was not okay. And they're
yeah.
going, no, I didn't do anything wrong. And that was when I realized, oh, this is a values thing. In their
Yeah.
mind, that
Yes.
was fine. And in my
Yeah.
mind, that's not okay. And it let me put a line of like, okay, well, that is not going to work for me, and it's
Yes.
not,
Yes.
I don't have to hate you. I don't have to say you're evil or you're whatever. It's just, okay, you value that and I value this. That's not that friendship's probably not going to work as well because
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
looking for these things and you're looking for those things.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. I do struggle though sometimes when there's something that I just can't see it as being okay, even though they think
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah.
And there's those, but I think that's a different category, which
Yeah.
maybe
That's
falls
maybe getting
into
into right and wrong and that kind of stuff. And
or
there,
people who have these tendencies where they can really hurt people and be okay
yeah.
with it. And I think, okay, well
Yeah.
that,
That's not
but
okay.
yeah, but I agree with you. I think it's easy to say, okay, well, that's we're gonna go separate ways for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let me ask you our final question that I ask everybody, which is
Yeah.
what in your job brings you the most joy?
Um, I think it's well, the people I work with are pretty awesome. You know, like I said, they're putting their heart into their business, and I meet some really special people. But I think the thing that I enjoy most is when that light bulb moment goes off and people say, okay, I'm selling candles. But then they realize that they're actually making a really big impact because they're selling candles that are not harming their pets, that are making a positive contribution in the world, and in teaching people how to take better care of their pets. And now suddenly they have something to get excited about because they're making a difference. So I think it's that. It's those light bulb moments where people think, oh, I'm doing a lot more than I thought I was. And my
Yeah.
business is a lot more meaningful and important than it was. And so for sure, I
That's
think it would be
that's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Kathia, where can people connect with you and find out more about what you're doing or hire
Mhm.
you or whatever they need?
Oh, well, thank you. Instagram, I'm at eco_strategist on Instagram. And then on my website, my name, KathyaBustamante.com. Those are two pretty easy places.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was great.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm very encouraged whenever I find people, especially people helping people build things that are values based, that are helping them see the bigger picture and make a positive impact in the world. That's just it's
Yeah.
always nice to know that
Mm.
there's people out there doing that still. We're so
Yeah.
we're always surrounded by all the negative news, so it's nice to hear the good stuff too.
Well, thank you, Matt. That's why I was drawn to your podcast because it just had such a good vibe and a feel good. And I did listen to some of the people you interviewed, and it was just so uplifting. And I thought, oh, that's a nice podcast. I'd like to maybe have a
Oh,
chat with
thanks.
him. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All
Okay.
right. Well, thanks, Kathia.
Thank you. Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Creating Good with Matt Barnes is recorded at Rogue Collective in beautiful Newport Beach, California. It's hosted and executive produced by me, Matt Barnes. Post-production is by our amazing friends over at Fame, the B2B podcast agency. Writing is by Matt Barnes and Taylor Bolanos from Rogue Creatives. Creative direction and design is overseen by Corey Hill of Rogue Creatives. Theme music is composed and performed by Jared Atherton of Chapters. Huge thanks to our amazing guests for joining us this episode, and thank you to all of you incredible listeners for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, and I would imagine you did if you're still listening, so don't forget to help us spread some good by giving us a good review. Preferably like 5 stars, lots of really nice words. It's very helpful. Also, tell your friends and subscribe so we can come straight into your potholes each and every time we have a new episode. Take the Creating Good pledge on our website at creatinggood.co. We'll catch you next time. This has been a Rogue Creatives production.